Overcoming Myths and Objections. My building was built to code. You know, code's a funny thing. Number one, it lags commercially available best practices. Number two, it definitely is an exercise in compromise because there are lots of parties feuding when a new code is put in place, which is why you'll see a lot of jurisdictions using ASHRAE codes, for example, that are many years out of date because that's the best they could get all the stakeholders who are feuding to agree to accept. But let's talk about what this code really means. What does built to code really mean? Does it really mean efficient? You know, first of all, before we even get started, you can ask, what year was the building built? You could actually research when the building was built as well as major renovations and additions before your first meeting. But if you haven't taken the time to research or if you're caught on the spot, ask yourself, when was this building built and what code was in place at the time that building was built? Do you happen to know what the energy efficiency code was in place at that time? Let's talk about number three. Are you confident that the building was inspected and found to be in compliance with code after it was actually built? You know, lots of municipalities around the country and around the world probably don't have enough code inspectors. So while they may have an aggressive code for energy, they may just not have enough bodies to walk around and inspect the properties properly before they actually issue certificates of completion and certificates of occupancy. How about, has the building been benchmarked recently? And if so, how high was the score? You know, it doesn't really matter whether it was built to code. If it was being operated poorly, and I've seen many opportunities or examples where people build a building to code, even they build it to exceed code, but then several years later they return to the structure only to realize that the operating manuals for the energy management system had long been lost. Maybe the building changed ownership, maybe they changed engineering firms to run the building, and the benchmarking score is pathetically low, much lower than what you would have expected for a building that was designed to be exceptionally efficient. So think about asking any one of these four questions when someone just gives you the knee-jerk reaction, it was built to code.